Hey everyone, thanks so much for being here. I'm super happy to be speaking with all of you tonight, and just want to say that you definitely should chat in during this, but we'll just keep your microphones off during the presentation. So thanks so much for being here. All right, and we will be recording this tonight. So again, just wanted to let you know. So I'm Megan Green, and I am a registered dietitian. I've been a practicing dietitian for over 8 years now, and I am with Launch My Health. We are a team of practitioners working to help you live your best quality of life. And we'll talk more about that later, but let's dive into the topic that you're here for tonight, and that is resetting your nutrition and ditching the yo-yo dieting. So again, as we go along, make sure to chat in and let's make this a conversation. So tonight we'll talk about what I mean by the word detox, and then we'll go through where toxins come from. I'm sure you have some ideas, but we'll just review the top areas that you're exposed to them in your life. And then I'll reveal my top 4 tips for nutritionally helping your body detoxify naturally. And so we'll have 4 major tips for you at the end, and then we'll talk a little bit about the program that we offer. So what is detox? You know, detox gets used, that word gets used a lot in the nutrition and wellness industry, and sometimes it gets misinterpreted or maybe misused even. And so just to clarify, there's kind of 2 definitions or main definitions. The first one is to withdraw from the use of drugs or alcohol to which one has developed an addiction. And then the other one is to describe your body's physiological process of rendering chemicals, compounds, hormones, and toxicants less harmful. That's the definition that we're talking about when we talk about our restorative nutrition detox and enhancing your body's detoxification process. So I'm not an expert in helping people withdrawing from drugs or alcohol, etc., or addiction. So just want to be clear, that's what we're talking about. And the word detox sometimes will get pasted on a product and it's like a laxative product or a cleanse, right? Again, that's not what we mean by this at all. This is what we mean, this definition right here, helping your body's natural detoxification process. So what is a toxin? It's any substance that has harmful effects on your body. When your gastrointestinal system is not functioning optimally, additional burden is placed upon your liver and other organs in your body. So multiple organs in your body work to make sure that proper detoxification happens regularly. And so it's not just our liver. Our gastrointestinal system is really working to get rid of the toxins that your liver has detoxified in your body. We'll talk about that more later, but just know that there's multiple things that are at play here. And then when incoming toxins exceed our liver's ability to remove them, it's termed toxic burden. So we all have, you know, a toxic burden. It's impossible to avoid toxins 100%. And so it's nothing to feel bad about. We just want to identify, you know, where are these toxins coming in and help ourselves and our body by maybe reducing that toxic burden a little bit. And then one of the key points here is that toxins are fat soluble. So they're attracted to the fatty portion of cells throughout our body. And that comes into play when we think about weight loss and detoxifying properly. So we'll go through all of that today. Each year, the average person is exposed to 14 pounds of pesticides, herbicides, food additives, and preservatives. 14 pounds we're exposed to, and that's just on average. Maybe if we live somewhere, like for instance, I live in a city, I think I'm probably exposed to more just from what I'm breathing in and the water and things like that. But again, depending on our lifestyle and our environment, it could be higher. And like I said, it's impossible to avoid 100%. And actually, research shows that 100% of us have toxic burden or toxins that we're exposed to and storing in our body. And so what we want to do is reduce the amount that we're exposed to and also help our body detoxify properly, since we can't necessarily avoid them 100%. Toxins and exposure to toxins are related to multiple different disease states and symptoms. Cancer is definitely one of them that research has shown a correlation to. Does that mean that toxins are the cause of every cancer? No, but our diet and our environment are super important parts of reducing our risk for cancer, or helping us if we did end up with cancer. And like I said, 100% of people are exposed to toxins. So where do those toxins come from? The first category, in my opinion, is probably the most obvious, right? Air toxins. When we think of toxins, we think about polluted air, auto exhaust, things we can kind of, we can smell, we can take in, or we know they're kind of obvious. Heavy metals, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides, radiation, and inhalants. And so some of these kind of go into other categories too. But again, we're thinking of factories, auto exhaust, things that we might see regularly. And then inhalants from cleaning products. And so this is actually thinking more about your home, your place of work, if it's not currently your home, wherever you go each day. What are the cleaning products used and what's in those cleaning products? And so this isn't to scare you at all. This is just for awareness, right? We just want to be thinking about everything in our environment, because our environment is really the number one factor for our health, for determining our health, right? That includes people, things we're exposed to, what we're eating, our stress levels, etc. And so this list just shows you some of those common cleaning products and what they're associated with. So I won't read this word for word because I know you can see it there, but it can cause things like irritated eyes and lungs, respiratory symptoms, things in our furniture and floor polishes, breathing issues. So something to be aware of, and maybe there's some easy changes that you can make when it comes to cleaning products. I know that sometimes when I clean, now we have masks, I can just wear a mask and it helps. So that's one way to avoid breathing it in. And then indoor toxic exposure. So we think about those air pollutants outside and those things that we're breathing in when we're outside. But really, we're breathing in toxins and exposed to them even when we're inside too. And sometimes that is kind of shocking to hear, but it could be from an old building that you're in or a new building, right? Different chemicals and things that are used in the making and the materials. So interesting fact, it takes an average of 26 seconds for chemicals in the typical household products to enter the bloodstream. Only 26 seconds. So we're pretty likely to be exposed to it, right? And that's why we want to enhance and help our body with detoxifying these things. Sources of toxins, second category, we have air pollutants and then lifestyle toxins. So these are things that, again, we're regularly exposed to: cosmetics, skincare, nicotine, alcohol, caffeine, prescription drugs, over-the-counter drugs. Maybe we're not exposed to all of those, but there are common things in a household. The average woman is exposed to 126 unique chemical ingredients just through our skincare products. And men, you're not too far behind us. I don't know the number off the top of my head for how many unique chemical ingredients everyone is exposed to, but that's quite a bit. So what I recommend doing is look at the things you're using each day and identify if there are, is there a whole long list on there? And is there anything you could swap out that might help reduce your toxic burden from those chemicals or those products that you're using regularly? This includes shampoo, deodorant, makeup, body wash. Just check it all and just maybe count up and see if you're getting 126 or more. The skin is the body's largest organ. And so again, it took 26 seconds, research shows. And so things we're putting on our skin are going to make a big impact inside our body. Again, not super shocking, but if we're exposed to those things regularly, that can lead to hormone disruption, organ system toxicity, reproductive toxicity, infertility. It can impact it, and birth or developmental defects. Also, it can lead to other symptoms that maybe are just more kind of chronic things that we'll look at a list of in a minute here. And then still continuing with lifestyle, medications. This relates probably the most to nutrition compared to the other things here. And that's because we might need medications, right? That's okay. But we want to know what those medications are doing to our body and how we can help our health when we're taking those medications. So take a look at this list. And if there's a medication that you might be taking regularly, look at the nutrients that are depleted from taking that medication. Then we want to make sure that you're repleting or having a good intake of those nutrients regularly to help. So you're avoiding possible side effects and deficiency symptoms and supporting your body in a healthy way. This would be a good one to take like a screenshot of or a picture of so you have this when you need it. And then water toxins. So leading pollutants in our nation's water are bacteria, certain nutrients, metals, solvents. You know, what I just recommend doing is using that link. You should be able to click on it. And if you can't, let me know. I can send it to you. But it's from the Environmental Working Group, and they have a tap water database where you can type in your zip code, and it's right at that link right there, and it will show you everything that's in your water, and it categorizes them by levels that are higher than the recommendation for safe, and then some that are safe or under the safe, you know, or dangerous level. So in my water, I looked, there's 13 contaminants, and I think 9 of them were over that safe level and they were in the dangerous zone. Some of them were like 126 times more than what was recommended. So it's just pretty eye-opening. And the nice thing is they also tell you ways that you can filter your water and kind of best practices. And it can go, you know, by most cost-effective to most expensive, and whatever your priorities are with it, you can at least help a little bit. And then food and soil toxins. So artificial foods, colorings, preservatives, hormones and antibiotics in some of the meats, refined foods and sugars, dietary choices, pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. They're sources of toxins that our body, things that our body has to work to detoxify and eliminate. And then this one is kind of interesting to think about. So we have these external toxins, but we also have internal toxins. So bacterial, yeast, or fungal overgrowth would be considered internal toxins. Byproducts of metabolic reactions, undigested food, chronic stress can lead to internal toxins. Unresolved trauma or abuse can be considered internal toxin. Unhappy relationships, so with a spouse, significant other, boss, something that's causing regular stress. You know, the term toxic people, we literally consider them internal toxins because of the impact they can have on our body physiologically from what we're feeling and that stress regularly. So think about those a little bit too, but we're going to move forward with why nutrition matters when it comes to toxins. So we went through ways that we're exposed to toxins. Now we're going to look at why that matters and what you can do nutritionally. And I'm just checking here. I don't see anything in the chat yet, so feel free to chat in. Reminder. So why does nutrition matter? Gastrointestinal issues may not allow you to properly absorb nutrients, which are used in the detoxification process. We'll look at how they're used in a second here. So if you have gastrointestinal symptoms, you know, maybe you have pain after eating, constipation, bloating, diarrhea, you're not absorbing nutrients. Maybe you have food sensitivities that you know about or you're wondering about, that can impact your detox process. If we use up too many of those nutrients without replenishing, we leave ourselves vulnerable to the toxins we're taking in because we're not going to detoxify properly. And really, nutrition is the least expensive and invasive method that will be used as a first line approach to treat issues. And we have to eat, right? We don't have a choice. We have to eat. We need nutrition for our health. And so why not give our bodies the fuel, the information, the nutrients that are going to help our bodies properly work, thrive, and so we can live our highest quality of life, right? Why not? Let's do it. So signs that your detoxification capacity might be impaired. So AKA, these are some symptoms or conditions that might be correlated to needing some help with enhancing your body's natural detox process. So take a look at this list. Maybe this is why you're here, and see if there's any other ones that might correlate. And let's note that, because then we want to really think about starting to implement some of these tips. But what I want you to do is, if you have a symptom on this list, write it down, maybe put it in the notes in your phone, write the date, and then rate your symptom right now. So say you're having hot flashes, rate it on a scale of 1 to 4, 4 being severe and frequent, 1 being mild and infrequent, and just rate where they're at. Whatever your symptom is, maybe you have none, maybe you have a bunch of them, and just give yourself a rating now. Because if you start to make a change with any of these nutrition tips, you want to be able to check in and see how it's going and how it's helping, if it is helping. And it's nice to have a measure right now. And then the weight loss connection. So detoxification, better than a diet. You probably saw this when you signed up for class, but this is what we're talking about. So fat is created to protect our body from toxins and impurities. Those toxins are fat soluble. If we, diet really, the word just means how we eat. But if we use it in the term of the way that a lot the world or society kind of uses it, by calorie cutting, that's going to increase our toxic density, which if we are not taking in those nutrients to help your body detoxify and eliminating regularly, supporting our body well, that can lead to rebound weight gain, which often is referred to, we think back, like we're yo-yo dieting over the years. We gain it back, do a different diet, gain it back. This is a way to not keep feeding into that cycle and to stop that cycle, start new patterns, and reach your health goals. So when we're supporting our body, not even calorie cutting necessarily, but we're getting all those nutrients and supporting the detoxification process, that's going to help lead to long-term sustainable weight loss. So if that's a goal of yours and one reason you're here today, this is a great way to start with these 4 tips or with the program. And I'm really happy that you're here. It can be a big game changer. And then here's how it's connected. So supporting the liver. Nutrition supports your liver. Your liver is filtering blood, storing glucose for energy, breaking down steroid hormones, producing and secreting bile, which takes the excess hormones and toxins that have been altered to your GI system, where your GI system gets rid of it through your bowels, and you get rid of some of them through your urine. And so we need these nutrients to support these 2 phases of detoxification. If you've ever been in a nutrition or physiology class or biochem or something, you might see this and think, oh boy, I'm starting to have flashbacks. And this is the part that excites me, because look at all of these nutrients that help. These are the ones that help phase 1. These are they're really not even helpers. They're what's needed for phase 1 and phase 2. And these can come from food. So we have toxins. They go through phase 1 and phase 2 detoxification. Then they go into our gastrointestinal system, and we need fiber to help remove them through our bowels, and we need to be hydrated and remove them through our urine. This helps our body in a multitude of ways. Here are 2 examples. It can help with normalizing blood sugar levels, which helps with reducing inflammation, and it helps normalize your hormone and cholesterol levels, because those excess hormones are going to be removed when we're detoxifying well. And if they're not removed over time, that can lead to chronic conditions or disease states. All right, so what do we do then? Here's the top 4 things I recommend. And 4 can be overwhelming, so maybe choose the one that resonates the most with you and start there. Simple, consistent change is what we want, not trying to do a bunch of things and not being able to be consistent. So the first one is reducing your toxic burden by using these lists. So we have the Dirty Dozen on the left, Clean 15 on the right. Again, this is from the Environmental Working Group. Basically what they do, they use the USDA information. So the USDA tests their fruits and vegetables for contamination. And then the Environmental Working Group has a system that they use to rank the dirtiest, the most contaminated, and then the cleanest each year. So this is the 2021 list. This is actually a wallet guide. You can actually get this on their website, ewg.org. And so looking at the left side, if you are eating these foods regularly, I would definitely recommend trying to get them organic when possible. The Clean 15, you don't really need to worry about whether they're organic or not. And nutrition is a spectrum. So you might be saying, wow, I can't do any organic right now. I'm barely eating any plant foods at all. That's okay. Just start with eating more whole plant foods and then worry about organic later. And then the interesting thing is that this testing is done after the foods are prepared the same way people would prepare at home. So washing, peeling, scrubbing. So it's not even like, you know, without washing them. I see a question here. Are Dirty Dozen risks mitigated by eating organic? So organic should reduce the exposure to pesticides, herbicides, insecticides. That being said, I know sometimes they still become exposed, but it's going to reduce that. Yep. Okay. And then number 2 is identifying and removing food triggers. So what does this mean? This is where the elimination diet protocol comes in. But there's, if our gastrointestinal system is, again, not working properly, that's going to impact our detoxification. So what we do in the elimination protocol, and this is the Institute for Functional Medicine elimination diet. So there's multiple out there. So I just want to state that's what this one is. But we remove those most common food triggers for 3 to 4 weeks, minimum 3 weeks. And what that does is gives the cells in our gastrointestinal system and in our, which includes our mouth, so our taste buds change a little too when we're reducing these things, gives them time to turn over and heal, and for your gastrointestinal system to heal, which optimizes your nutrition because you're optimizing nutrient absorption. Also, with some of these foods, when you are removing them for 3 weeks, it's reducing your toxic burden because you're going to be cutting out some of the toxins. Now, these foods are not, bad foods. I don't even like saying that foods are bad, but these are the most common triggers for symptoms in our body, especially gastrointestinal symptoms, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a GI symptom. It could be something like, again, a skin issue, like a rash or something that's happening, eczema, fatigue, brain fog, headaches, migraines, and the list goes on, referring back to that other list that we talked about a few slides ago. So we remove these for 3 to 4 weeks. Then we test them one at a time following the protocol to figure out which foods are potentially triggering symptoms that you're experiencing. And this might seem like a really overwhelming, scary list. That's why I recommend doing a program or meeting with a dietitian to implement this. You don't have to cut all of these out at the same time. Sometimes people do. And trust me, there's still a ton of foods that you can eat that taste good, that are so good for you, have a ton of flavor. You're satisfied and full. And I love when I hear people say, I'm not even hungry on this and I'm losing weight. How is that possible? Because they're so used to calorie cutting all these years, right? But they are feeling satisfied, energetic, and better. So that is number 2, figuring out which foods are not going well for you. And then number 3, what can we add more of? My approach with nutrition, although we have the elimination protocol, besides that and that short-term protocol, we want to think about what to add more of to help your health. With nutrition, a lot of the time we kind of dread maybe thinking about nutrition because it means, oh, I can't have this or that. I don't want you to think about that necessarily. I want you to think about what to add more of to help your body detoxify. If you're ready to do an elimination, great, but let's think about what to add more of first. So these nutrients here help with phase 1 and 2 in the liver, detoxification in the liver. These are the foods that give you those nutrients. So again, this would be another good one to take a picture of or take a screenshot of and try to plan these in regularly. Take a look at this list each week and maybe choose a food from, each day that you can have from this list that you like and enjoy and that you want to add. Variety is key, you guys. So getting a variety of colors of plant foods and a variety of foods from this list is what I recommend. And then the 4th one is getting enough fiber. So I should say, if you're seeing a dietitian or a physician and they said that you personally should not have this much fiber, listen to them, of course, follow their plan. But in general, 30 to 35 grams of fiber per day is usually what I recommend. Why? It doesn't boot the natural toxin clearance. It boosts the natural toxin clearance in your body. So the bile in your body helps package up your excess hormones and toxins that are ready to be excreted, brings it to your GI system. Fiber picks up the packages and helps remove them from your body. So if we're not getting adequate fiber, we're not going to be eliminating those toxins as well. And then what happens? Those toxins hang around for a while. They're going to start recirculating throughout your body. Then they go stored in your fat. And next thing you know, we have excess hormones, excess toxins, leading to symptoms, disease states, conditions, and you not feeling your best, right? So we want fiber to help with that. It's good for other things too. It's good for our blood sugar levels. It's helpful for feeling full and satisfied. It's helpful because a lot of these foods have prebiotics in them too, which feed our good gut bacteria, which is so good for our brain and many things, our immune system. So consume fiber regularly. If you don't know how much you're getting, you could track for a day, maybe track for 3 days. Just track the food you're eating, use an app. If you're wondering what apps, I like Chronometer or Chronometer, CRONO meter, or even MyFitnessPal. Track and just see the grams of fiber that you're getting. And if you're not getting close to 30, add some of these plant foods from the list before, and that's going to help give you some fiber. Okay, so just to review, top 4 tips: reduce your toxic burden, identify and remove food triggers, consume targeted nutrients, consume adequate fiber. Choose one of these and start with that. Stay consistent and keep it simple. You don't have to cook gourmet meals to follow this. Trust me, you guys, as a dietitian, even though I'm a dietitian and we had cooking as part of our schooling, I still didn't really know how to cook that well. So I'm a super simple cook. I've learned so much from Chef Jeremy and our classes at lunch, and you can eat nutritiously without doing gourmet cooking. Okay. If I can do it, you can do it. So I do want to share just for a minute here about our Restorative Nutrition Detox program. And I definitely want to see if there's any questions. So please chat in any questions you have about the content or the program or anything related to nutrition. Our Restorative Nutrition Detox program is 5 weeks long. It's 5 sessions, and it's a group program when it's live. We meet every week for 5 weeks. The next one starts July 8th, and it kind of leads you through all of this, helps support you, gives you regular meal plans, recipes, resources, and helps with accountability and support. We also use a medical grade supplementation kit to start out the first 7 days. And this is to help jumpstart the 5 weeks, and has support for your liver and your gastrointestinal system for that first week. And then we continue on, of course, throughout the program, but just using food with that. So you do eat food during the first week too, but you just have these extra supplements to help. The new thing that we have that we're super excited about is an on-demand option as well. So if starting this program July 8th doesn't work for you, but you're interested in doing it, there is an on-demand option where you could start at a time that's convenient for you. And we have all the videos recorded and guidelines, handouts, things like that available to you online. Just to show you what it looks like. Again, it's 5 weeks long, and we meet with the group each week, or you can go week by week with your on-demand. So each week there's a little bit of an education session for 20 minutes, give or take a little bit. And then we do group check-in if it's optional. So some people love to share, some people don't. That's okay. But you still know that you have that group there to support you, especially if there's any challenges along the way. And then, like I said, there's meal plans and support each week. So it's 5 sessions long, whether you do on demand, or 5 weeks long, whether you do on demand or live. But that means that from the first session to the last, there's 4 weeks in between of making change and guidelines. And so it's kind of nice to think about it that way. In 4 weeks, what can change for how you feel? Whatever drew you to this class, maybe you're just interested, maybe you're, really experiencing something that's impacting your day-to-day, and maybe holding you back from something, or maybe it's just an annoying symptom that you do not want to deal with anymore. What can happen in 4 weeks when we're consistent with nutrition and we have guidance and support? A lot can happen. I'm just going to share 3 client spotlights. This is Craig. He did our Restorative Nutrition Detox. And like he says here, his wife suggested it, but he didn't want to do it. So she kind of signed him up, and he really didn't want to do it. And it ended up being really cool because he happened to have his labs checked with his physician at the beginning and at the end. That was just ironic, and it worked out great. But his labs all improved, his liver labs, of course, but his cholesterol improved a little bit too. That's a short amount of time, but it's still, they did improve. Blood sugars, what else? Inflammation. He lost weight, and figured out what was contributing to symptoms. So the nice thing is too, again, didn't feel super hungry. That's what we want. We want to feel energized and like we're enjoying those foods that are going to help with health. This is Jody, another one who did the Restorative Nutrition Detox program. And she actually did it because of gastrointestinal symptoms and ended up figuring out what was triggering her hot flashes. So she no longer is experiencing them. Again, these are just personal stories from clients that have done it, but it's pretty cool to see the impact that nutrition can make with that consistent change. And this is just in those 4 weeks. And then she has continued on maintaining that after as well. And so has Craig. And then another one here, Heather. So she did it because a friend asked her to sign up. Wasn't really sure. Again, she just knew she wanted to focus on her nutrition. And she didn't even think that nutrition would impact her runny nose symptom. And as you can read here, she figured out she had some issues with gluten going on, and she was able to decrease and improve bloating, her runny nose symptoms, and I think she also lost some weight too, actually, but her energy was improving and she was feeling good. So just a few different examples and different reasons that people have done the program and how it's impacted them. So that's all I have for you tonight. I do want to share that we have a special code, welcome20 for 20% off. You will get an email too. And that's for any service that we offer at Launch My Health. If you go to launchmyhealth.com, you can see all of the services there. So whether it's the Restorative Nutrition Detox, or maybe you want to focus on learning how to cook things, that healthy foods that taste better, Chef Jeremy can help with that too. But our next live group starts July 8th for the Restorative Nutrition Detox, and we'll meet again for those 5 weeks in a row with lots of things in between, again, helping with accountability and support and making change. So if this resonated with you at all, I'd love to have you in the group. It's always an awesome dynamic with the people in the group. It's super supportive, and it's just really neat to see what those outcomes are like and how people feel after. If you're not sure and you have questions, you can email me and we can jump on a phone call or Zoom. So let's see a question here. I have done the elimination diet, but I would like to do the medical detox. Is that an option? Yeah, so if you would like to just try the supplement kit, that is definitely an option that we should connect on. If you're okay with it, I will send you an email, just confirm that you're okay with it. And if you want to just try that kit for a week, I can connect with you about that. Any other questions? No question is a dumb question. Don't be scared. Okay, well, I don't see anything coming in. Okay, great. I will reach out to you about the medical detox kit. Awesome. I'll write that down. Anybody else have any comments, concerns, again, questions, anything that comes to mind? All right. Well, if not, thanks so much for being here and listening, and nice work making your health a priority, and taking time to learn and do things for your nutrition and health. So we are super happy that you're here and in part of our launch community. So thank you, and I will sign off then. There's no other thoughts or comments. Have a great night, you guys.